Hey, do you have your phone? See if you can see if the QR codes on the stream, your phone can still read them.
Okay.
Just for curiosity, just in case somebody online wants to fill out a. You know, it's funny. QR codes it does work good.
Yep. QR codes came out, and
there was a sort of initial interest, and then it seemed like they went away for several years, and now there's QR codes everywhere.
I wonder if it's like one of those things, like if they're kind of ahead of their time, and now they're...
yeah, it could be.
People are finally sitting around like, oh, why didn't we do this sooner?
Well, yeah, and it's and so many more people are using their phones for everything now, for browsing and everything. But I should talk to Rashawn, because I always generate the things with a URL generator, where I take my URL and I run it through Bitly to get it smaller before I run it through a QR code generator. Well, they end up less complex. There's fewer dots. Like one of them, the listen one, that might be one I did with that method. But then, some of these others, there's they're much thicker, and so, the trouble is, like on a poster, you have to make them bigger to make sure that they still work. Yeah, like
You just don't want things to go black, right?
well, like the one. So listen is fine. Listen is a smaller one, but the one for his resources is huge. Yeah, I found a website that gave me dimensions. They said for a QR code with this many rows and columns, you should make it this many inches big on your poster. And so if they have fewer rows and columns, then they can be smaller on the poster. Yeah, that's the one that's very complex.
Yeah, so with there being a handbook, there's a lot of QR codes, and I guess the web team said that they had to redo them because people can use it to hack or something. So they had to do like a secure layer or something.
Oh wow! Huh.
I don't know what all that entails, but it's just interesting.
Yeah, usually if it's that's interesting. I wonder. I mean, it's just theoretically it should be no different than giving out a URL if it's a read only. But maybe there were some apps or something that were happening.
Yeah. I don't know, but it was, we have to redo all these.
The fall.
That's not helpful.
Oh yeah, I don't know how long mine might be, so sounds good, everybody. Make your way back in. We're gonna get ready for our very last session. Oh, sad, right? It's been a lot of good sessions so far, but it has to end sometime, and I think all of us are ready to go home. As I was pondering kind of what, as an MC, I usually think about what I said or should have said or who I offended. But I just realized yesterday I never shared my favorite Res Dog quote. So my favorite quote is, "What's up, white Jesus?" That has to be. That's probably like the funniest part of the whole show, and all these shows are really good, right? I just like how it was a long time coming, but I feel like we waited so long because we wanted to do, or they wanted to do. I'm not very artistic, but they wanted to do indigenous shows an indigenous way, and it took a long time, but it worked out because we had really fun shows to watch, which I like all of them except for Dark Winds. I mean, it's a good story and all, but the part that I couldn't get over, and I'm guessing my Navajo brothers and sisters like Sierra can vouch what's going on in Dark Winds. It was the pronunciation of the Navajo words that was just kind of hard to endure. I mean, how hard is it to say yate? I was like, even Mike Kelly from Bozeman, Montana, says it better, and he's white. Like I trained him how to say Navajo words. So that was just the only thing about Dark Winds I could not just get over. It was so hard. But of course, when the female actor says a bad word in Navajo, she says it perfectly. Like I totally understood what she was saying, and I thought, why is it when we those of us who might know our language a little more, we only know and remember the bad words, and then we start teaching them to our friends, our neighbors, and our dogs. And they just remember it too. Like that's the only word they remember, right? Are the bad words in our language. But it was really, yeah. So Dark Winds is a good show. It's just kind of hard to endure you could tell they weren't indigenous speakers. And you can make the argument like, well, they're not Navajo. Well, it's like I'm Navajo, but I can speak other languages. So like my wife is Zuni, so I can say Keshe Koptolea. Or LShe, which the DJs say when they want to know how everyone's doing. And my friend is Dakota, Bobby Gray Eagle. He's not here right now, but he taught me how to say Ochete Shakawin. So I can kind of say those, so I can kind of say them. So you can make the argument like they're not Navajo, but it's not that hard. So how many of you want to hear Mike Kelly say Yate? Yeah, okay, Mike, you've been called up to show us your Navajo prowess. So.
Okay. Blackfeet. Hello. That's about it. Yate.
Oh, say it again. Say it again. I don't have the people on the back.
Yate. For you in the back. For Billy Tallis. Yate.
All right. So we're going to have, I don't know if you guys knew this, but we have plenty of people with talents in this room, which we've already heard about, from Chokahe's poetry to people that can ride buses really well. But Billy Tallis has a very special skill. I want to come up and show us how to perform a very specific skill that if you follow him on Instagram or I don't know if he's on Facebook. He's probably too young to be on Facebook. Yeah, you don't like Facebook. Okay, so he's biased against Facebook. But so Billy, I have a broom here. I'm not going to have you sweep, but you're a power lifter, correct? Yeah, you can stay down there. So this is a tutorial. Get your cameras ready. So I have a broom right. So Billy is going to show us the proper form and technique for powerlifting. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I just like going to Willis for like 7 years. But so there's fundamental things you do to power so what I can see here, for instance, this is what I'm talking about earlier. So like right spot position, when you go like that, and like it's supposed to like the bar is supposed to be from your shoulder blade, right? So maybe your shoulder muscle. So as you get to the stretch spot position, like this is what helps you to weight. Some people do it like this, some people do it like that. But majority of the time it's like you get under the bar and then just do like a press squat. And then maybe just put over your head and just go up there. But that's like one of the basic like power.
Anybody want to try? Work out with Billy? Yeah. Preston, you want, come on up, Preston. He can show you. Yeah, you can teach. See, yeah, judge his form and technique. Let's see if he does it right. Well, he does right. What is wrong? All right, so Billy will be at the hotel gym tonight if you guys want a personal session. So how much do you charge, Billy? $250. No, how much? Oh, how much do you charge to teach someone how to? Oh, $250. Okay, well he lives $250 and he charges $250. So if it's $2.50 or $250, I'll let you. Yeah, bring your checkbook. Yeah. Thanks, Billy. Let's all give Billy a round of applause. So next up, I'm going to call my good friend John to come up here because he's been taking online dance lessons. So he's going to show us some moves right now. So let's bring up John. You ready? Yeah. All right, John, let's give him another round of applause for that amazing. And sorry, ladies, he's married, so don't even ask. Yeah, his wife's back there, so she's sitting by him now. So just to ward off everybody. So yeah, thanks. I'm sure there's more talent out there we can share later behind the hotel or something in the dark alley. We'll meet there later. But I just wanted to give just a real quick, just some time for my friend, Chris Hokulatubi, or Toby, or yeah, I'll let him introduce himself, Tubby. But he works with Nate, and I just want to give him a chance to introduce himself and his work to all of you, future scholars and indigenous theologians.
Yakoke. Oh, Yakoke. Thank you. Halito Chimichikma. My name is Chris Hokulatabi. I'm a member of the Chata Nation. Favorite reservation dog quotes. But before I say anything, let me say some things. Now, I don't want to talk about myself, but because the elders have said these things, I can say these things. I'm a model, a hat maker, and a good one. I also happen to be a professor of biblical studies and director of graduate studies for NATE's and Indigenous Learning Community. So if you all love the vibe and the mood of WJEF and you're thinking, man, I wish there was something like this in the summer. Well, boy, do I have good news for you all. So this is my official invitation to join us for NATE's and Indigenous Learning Community. Our summer annual gathering is always the first weekend of June. It's going to be in a Manitoba area at the, well, if you go to our website, nates.com, it's the Christian Mennonite University. There we go. There we go. Ooh, is it up there? No, it's not up there. Oh. Yeah, throw up nates.com. So we are not just an annual meeting where we gather, we celebrate Jesus around the drum, we sing songs. We also give presentations. This is an academic gathering where students and professors are gathering alike presenting on topics. This year, our theme is on ethnomusicology, indigenous heart languages. Last year, we explored the theme of indigenous in the city. These are amazing, amazing gatherings. We also are, as implied in the learning community, we offer a master's degree programs in theological studies, a master's of divinity coming up. We offer a PhD. These are online degrees with in-person gatherings in the summer. I've been around these mornings having great conversations with students, so I've talked to a number of you all about our graduate offerings. But if you're thinking to yourself, this is the first time I'm hearing about NAITS, I would love to just hear more about what an Indigenous Christian seminary education looks like. Please come and talk to me. What's really exciting is that NAITS stands out amongst all other seminary experiences in that we are the first fully Indigenous designed, developed, and delivered accredited seminary in the nation. And we are not just expansive of Canada and the United States, but we are also working hand in hand with brothers and sisters in Australia and New Zealand, and now moving into South America. So it's a real exciting moment to be a part of this movement. So I've got cards, all my soaps have been given out, all my candles have been given out, but you can still make a friendship and handshake with me. So thank you so much, Yakoke, and it's a pleasure being here.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah, I'm kind of biased towards NAITS because that's where I earned my master's and continue my education with there. So thanks, Chris. If you have questions, or I guess questions. You can see Chris. He's over here. You know what he looks like now. So I'm going to invite up Cedric to do some giveaways.
Hold up.
Never mind. He tricked me. Who ate the most crackers? That's a good question.
Walking up all serious, that one. Okay. So I have some questions. Okay. My res is coming out. The more tired I get, the more res my voice comes. So I have some shirts to give away. I have 5 to be exact. And I assume if you get one and it's not your size, you can exchange it, ? Okay, Donnie said yes. So the first one, everyone grab your phones and type in your home address. And you're going to look at the distance between here and your home address. And these questions are going to apply to that, okay? What was that? Am I trying to dox you? No, I'm not. Okay. So I'm going to give 1 t-shirt to the person whose home address is closest to Redlands. Who thinks their address is the closest to Redlands? Right there? How many miles? You live on campus, so like, how many miles? Someone could live closer. Does anyone else live on campus? Okay, come on. Oh, okay. Who lives out of you two? Who lives the closest to right here? Whoa! Wait, what? Oh, out of 3 of you. Oh, because there's one behind you. Michael, right? Michael behind you also lives on campus. Oh, okay. All right. The first person that raised their hand, just come on up. We'll get you a shirt here. Woo! Come on up and say your name and the school you go to.
I'm Shelby, and I go to Redlands, so.
Thank you, Shelby. Oh. Whoa, okay. Now the next one goes to the longest person, the furthest trip. The furthest trip from Redlands Community College. Who's got it? Let's do miles. We're doing distance. I wish there was a way that you could figure out as the crow flies, but that's not a thing. So I'm just going by Google Maps or Apple Maps or whatever Android has. Map or MapQuest. I heard Chandler say MapQuest. All right, who thinks they have the furthest? Okay, Josh, back there. Does anyone beat 1,080? 1,503? 1,866? Who is it? Okay. Okay, who's the closest? Oh, so Lorraine, come on up. You're the furthest. All right. Come on up. Say your name and tribal affiliation.
What conference? English? English or my English name is Lorraine. My Yukta name is Dusival. That's how I walk. The elder named me, and if it was someone else, I would have been like, no, that's not my name.
Donnie looked it up. 3696 miles. A long ways. They really love us, those ones. Okay, the next one goes to who checked in first? Who checked in first? Okay, Anthony, when did you check in? Who checked in to, like, well, when did you check in? At the hotel. It was Anthony? Okay. All right, come on up, Anthony. Did you already get a shirt, actually? Oh, okay. Are you second? Okay, come on up. All right. Whoa, those red-eye flights. Because red eyes.
Over here and then back.
You flew over here and back? What do you mean?
So I come from Las Vegas. I flew from Las Vegas to Atlanta to here.
Go ahead and say your name, school, tribal affiliation.
My name is Christy. I go to the University of Las Vegas, Nevada, and I'm associated with the Inuit tribe.
All right. Next shirt goes to the person who checked in last. Who's the person that checked in last?
Rashad.
Well, we're gonna do students. Oh, Megan? We're gonna do students. Was it Billy? When did you check in? Yesterday? Anyone beat that? All right, come on up, Billy. I thought you were going to also compete in the next one, but I'll tell you what the next one is in a little bit. Oh my goodness. Okay. Go ahead and say your name, school, tribal affiliation.
Hi, friends. My name is Billy Dakota Tallis. I am Navajo, and I am currently going to Phoenix Seminary in Arizona.
Go ahead. Okay. The last one. I know a lot of people have to do stuff to check this one, but We're gonna give the next one to the person with the longest hair. Who has the longest hair? And Billy can't win this one either because he has pretty long hair. Okay, come up here if you think you have if you're competing. Come up here. We're gonna check. We're gonna check. See who has the longest hair. Face forward. Face that way. Face forward. Okay. Chris, come up here. Well, yeah, you'll be our palate cleanser. Okay. Okay. Megan's the official judge. Oh. That's weird. I feel like that's weird. Pull out your long. Okay, pull out a long hair. It's kind of weird, but Megan told me to. My boss told me to do it. This. Yeah, this is kind of sus. Okay, Megan's looking at the hair. Yeah, keep them in check. Like keep them like aligned. I don't know. I don't feel like this is the. We should just have people squat. Have people squat. Okay, don't do that, Megan. Megan, don't do that anymore. That's gonna. Don't pull it out. Don't pull it out. Okay, we should just squat. We should just squat. Okay, so the taller people are gonna match. What was your name? Braylee's height. You guys are gonna try and match Braylee's height.
I'll just do 2 at a time.
Oh, that's a good. Okay. All right, drum roll, please. Drum roll, please. Woo! All right, come on up. Share your school or name, school, tribe affiliation.
My name's Gina Janice, and I go to Oglala Lakota College in Pine Ridge, South Dakota.
Good job, guys.
I feel like we can get in trouble for that. Like, if the wrong person saw that, like taking the Indian hair, can't do that. So sorry, Chris, you were this close.
You know, there
Maybe
was a
like
different way that she
4
could have
years.
did that. She could have used one of the WJEF fry bread shirts and measured it with it. Measured it with it. Just saying. Just saying.
All right, as we close our last session too, if you guys still have gifts you want to share with any of the elders or speakers or me, just kidding. We're going to start that time off again too with just thanking our newest auntie who fed all of us. So if I can invite Victoria up. She's the one that's been cooking all your food, so let's welcome her up and thank her.
Good evening to all of you. I hope you guys enjoyed the food this evening. It was made with lots of prayers and love for you guys. I want to say thank you to Becca, to Megan, to Karen, to all of you who are responsible for this conference. It's a beautiful thing to see everybody here engaging in prayer and fellowship and just, you know, being able to enjoy each other's company after the pandemic and everything. It's really nice to be able to come together and share a meal, and I'm happy to be able to feed all of you, and I'm glad that you enjoyed the food. I want to say thank you to Bobby and my daughter Adriana over there for all of their help as well, and Karen, who's been a godsend, helping us out this weekend. I wanted to take just a moment to ask a favor of each of you. I sit on the school board for my daughter's school. She's a senior this year. And it's called the Sovereign Community School. It's an indigenous charter school in Oklahoma City. We try to teach culture, our languages. We have 39 tribes. We have about 29 of those tribes represented in our student body. We have about 125 students. We're in our third year, and we're struggling financially. So we're reaching out. We have a donate now button. We have a video that kind of tells a little bit more, shows some of our students. We had a National Indian Education Conference here in Oklahoma City about a month ago. And our students were asked to come out during the first day. It was a language summit. And Mado and Haho and Wado and Niaish and Uda. Those are all thank yous in some of our languages here in Oklahoma. And they were asked to come out and at the language summit, if you guys speak your language, thank you for, being a culture keeper and pushing that, that narrative forward, because a lot of us grew up in a time where we weren't taught our language. My mother was a fluent speaker of the Cheyenne language, and as a child, my great-grandmother spoke to me in nothing but Cheyenne, and I could understand everything she said, but I never learned to speak back. And so I'm now watching the videos that my tribe puts out for the grade schoolers, because I'm trying to catch up now. But it's never too late to learn your language. I know Bobby is a fluent speaker of the Dene language, and I'm just so impressed with people who are your age that are able to maintain their languages. But we were asked to come out for the language summit, and our students were to greet the people coming in their language and, direct them up to the language summit. So those are the things that we do. We hold powwows, we hold round dances, the kids sweat sometimes. We have a culture. One of our Cheyenne, he's one of our ceremonial men, and he is actually our cultural director at our school. So we have things implemented like that for our kids. We look for the true wellness in them, their mental health and stability, because we've all been touched by teen suicide among our people. And it's something that we want to address in our school to make sure that our kids are okay mentally, physically, and emotionally and spiritually. So this school is really, really something that these kids need. A lot of our students are urban. Some of them have a non-native parent that maybe they just don't know how to teach them their identity and who they are. So our school tries to step in and fill in those gaps. And we just need a little help staying open. My daughter really wants to stay open because she wants to graduate from there this year. So we are pleading for to help save our school. So Victoria Redbird on Facebook. I would love to be friends with every one of you. But if you can go to my page and share the post about Sovereign Community School. I know you guys are from all over the country, and it would just mean the world to me if you could just share that. And I appreciate each and every one of you. You will all be in my prayers for safe travels home. I loved being here. I'm so happy to be among you, and I'm so glad that you're here in my homelands. Thank you.
Thank you, Victoria, and your family for providing all the meals, and we've enjoyed all of it, right? Did you guys like it? Still some greasy lips out there, so it shows that they really enjoyed the meal. So I believe our youngest have gifts to give also. The children's coming on up, so let's welcome the next generations coming on up. Yeah, did you want to?
Osio, I'm Sarah Bennett, and this is my daughter Emiliana, and Perry, Donnie's. And I am a teacher and got to be a student here with WJEF a long time ago. and it meant the world to me. So I've continued to try to come and volunteer and help do different things. And one of the things that I try to teach my daughter is giving and recognizing your elders and taking care of the people around you. And I wanted to help them to understand some of the things that are important in here. So we have gifts. Donnie, do you have the names? Both Terry Wildman and his wife and Mr. Goins and Rick and Eric and Richard. Can you come up, please, so the children can give you the things that they made for you? They worked hard on these for most of the morning. Is there anyone else that we missed on? And then we also have some for the small group leaders and some of the other elders that are in the room. So if you are a small group leader, if you helped pour into the students this week and your peers this week, we have some more for you as well. And we wanted to make sure that you get them. So in between things later this evening, we will have them in the back for you. Thank you.
Well, great representation of the next generation, caring for the older generation. There's always that special connection, right, with the youngest grandchildren and the grandparents. So, wonderful thing to see. So, thank you, Sarah, for watching the kids. So, I would like to invite up our speaker. Where is he? Terry Wildman, is he? And if you can come up with your wife, Darlene, you guys can join me up here. Just as a show of appreciation for what you've done for us, spoken to us, played the flute for us, and made fun of us. We'd like to thank you for... Oh, you guys can stay down here. I'm sorry. Yeah. I know you like the stage, Terry, but just hold on. Yeah, I do. Yeah. How often do you get to tell elders what to do? But I believe there's people. I'll start with Mike Kelly. He just wants to share a gift for his appreciation on behalf of him, his wife, and his students, as well as Nick, just to thank you for your time and for your speaking to us.
Bobby Gragel, who couldn't be here, is with Nations. Had wanted to send a gift to you, Terry, and he said that he has a quote from one of the elders he's in North Dakota, and Clifford Cantu, he's Sisseton, Wahpeton, Dakota, Uyate, and he once shared this. He goes, I'm getting too old to smoke so much, and I have too much tobacco. He says, I wish relatives would ask if I needed any medicines, and I asked for bitter root. And then one of his, a good friend, a favorite local of his there, was Butch Thunderhawk, said our relative loves this tea that he has for you, and he's also a painter. But so this tea is, for those who are speaking a lot, those who are, it's elderberry, and those who, they need their voice to be strong, and that's what this is, medicinal. And so this is a tea, and then also, like he had mentioned, the bitter root. And so we've really appreciated your teaching. Keep your voice strong and keep sharing your vision.
Okay, so my name is Nick Ross. I am actually up here on behalf of Montana State University, so the guys right back there. So the cool thing, just the context, Mike and Julie, they pour into our students quite a bit. I think Julie leads this small group discussion with multiple of our young women called Jesus and Mental Health. And I've just heard they use the First Nations version quite a bit, and they read from it. I've personally received a copy of the First Nations, and you know the way Mike and Julie, Tim and Debbie, our other volunteers, Scott and Sherry, really pour into the students at MSU. First of all, thank you for that. Just the labor of love, and just being able to be here in person and to listen. So we'd like to gift you. I want to make sure the University of Montana sees this. So this is our indigenized bobcat, which will be featured prominently in our athletic events, basketball, football. But this design, our mascot is a bobcat, and this feather is, and this design in the back was designed by an Apsalga, a Crow tribal member, and so that's where that design comes from. And it's really representative and just symbolic of our student leaders. We actually have multiple members of our student leadership from the American Indian Council here on this trip. And so it's really a point of pride for them to wear this sweater. And so we thought you'd like it, so thank you.
Thank you guys, and if anyone has gifts for the Wildmans, they'll be hanging around afterwards tonight. So, and if anything, just come up and shake their hand and thank them for being here. And I'll hand it over to Terry to lead us back into the Word.
Darlene, can you come up and bring your flute? While she gets her flute, I'm going to read a couple verses from our main text that we're looking at over these few days. And we call this Isaiah's prophetic invitation. So he's inviting us. Creator is inviting us through this prophet. And then, following the path to Creator sets free, Jesus, to bring this invitation to everyone. Of course, this was made first to the tribes of wrestles with Creator. But then that prophetic invitation is being renewed to all people. Arise and let Creator's light shine out from you. It's time for you to awake from your sleep, for the morning light you have been waiting for is dawning. Turn your face toward Grandfather, and the rays of his beauty will shine upon you like the sunrise. Behold, even though darkness has covered and fallen upon the nations, Grandfather's light will break through the dark clouds and shine on you. Yes, his great light will surround you for all to see. The word of Creator. So what we want to look at as we started this whole message on, what was it, 2 weeks ago? Or just a couple days ago. We started looking at this scripture from Isaiah We gave him an Indian name, okay? Creator will help us. Isn't that a good name for a prophet? I like it. Creator will help us. Isaiah says these things. So these words were spoken or written down to the people of Israel, to the tribes of wrestles with Creator, about 2,500 years ago. 2,500 years. That's pretty old. That's pretty ancient. These are ancient words. These have words that have been in existence for a long time. And these very words are covering this earth. Tribes and people everywhere, every language, are hearing these ancient words because these are words that Creator wanted to get to everybody. And He made sure it got written down and kept in a good way so that we can have confidence to hear from a people He chose, a tribe of people He chose, a sacred nation that He chose to bring these words to all people everywhere. That was their special gift. We all have a special gift from Creator. Every tribe, every language has a special gift from our Creator. This was their gift. And they paid a heavy price to carry the weight of this sacred message. But there was a problem. The very people Creator first spoke this word to never responded fully to it. They never saw the beautiful promises of the light coming and their children being brought back to them in the way that they had hoped for. They kept having to wait and wait because Creator made it clear to them that He was going to send someone to make sure this word, this message would happen. He was going to send someone who was sacred and holy, a true human being. We could call Him Creator sets free. We could call Him Creator is with us. He has many names. And among our tribes and languages, He has many names. His name isn't just JESUS. Matter of fact, that name is only about 400 years old. So if you have to only know the name of JESUS, sorry about the people born before 400 years ago. They knew Him by different names. Yesu. And we went to Madagascar. They call Him Jesosi there. Many different names, but the same one. We're pointing to the same person. When we say Creator sets free in the First Nation version, we're not trying to take away His name. We're trying to reveal the meaning of His name, like our native names traditionally had great meaning to them and purpose to them. His name. Of all the people in the world, of every human being, His name carries the most power, the most weight, the most authority, the most beauty, the most sacredness. And it's a name we should all learn and learn to say, who are we talking about? Creator came down. Creator walked among us. But you see, Israel, they didn't... There was a problem. They were coming out of Babylon. They were coming out of captivity. They had lost their ways, and they never completely regained it back. And even when they rebuilt their destroyed sacred lodge and their destroyed temple, the elders wept because it was so pitiful compared to the ancient, beautiful temple that stands in peace Solomon built. But they were looking for the promise to come. They knew Creator would keep His word. Even though they messed up, they were still believing Creator would keep His word. And He promised that no matter what it took, He would make sure this word came to pass not just for the people of the tribes of wrestles with Creator, but for all people everywhere. The problem was that the people of Israel had become so preoccupied with the past that they couldn't see any future that didn't look like more of the same. The past was the template that defined their future. We must not let the past become the template to define our future. As indigenous people of Turtle Island, let's not live in the past. Oh, let's recognize it. Let's make sure it's made known. You know, one thing a lot of people say, well, why don't you just get over that? Why don't you just forget about it? It's a new day. Yeah, but we have to understand the story. The Bible doesn't hide all the bad stuff. You know, Peter stands on the rock. He denied Jesus. You know, you would think they would have covered that up. Shoved it under a rug. Oh, the big Peter, the big guy. I'm going to build my church on this rock man here. You know, and then he fails totally. And I think that might have been a sign. Maybe the church is going to do some failing along the way. Maybe the sacred family, that's what we call the church in the First Nation version, is going to fail along the way. But in the end, we're all going to come together. We're going to find a path of healing. We're going to find a path of forgiveness. We're going to find a path of harmony and beauty. And we're going to come together. And we're going to take the beauty of all of our different cultures. And every tribe and language is going to be recognized and honored by the Creator and by one another. I think I read that somewhere in this sacred book. And I believe it's for our people. Let's not let the past, the darkness of colonialism, become the template of our future. We don't live in the past. We live now. We can't change the past, but we can change the future. We can affect the future. We can choose a good path to go forward on. So I'm going to talk this tonight a little bit about our indigenous light. What kind of light can we shine? What could Creator be calling us to do in this time, in this hour? And like I said at the beginning, our elders and the past generations have been praying for us. We have had spirit warriors along the way that have prayed for that next generation. And their prayers are still being answered. And we are the answer to their prayers. We can take forward. We can hold on to those things. Now, I want to say this. When Isaiah says, deep darkness will cover the earth, or has covered the earth. Remember, we looked at what does darkness look like? Darkness is injustice. Darkness is where nothing flourishes. Life does not flourish. Plants don't grow without the light. And if the plants don't grow and the earth can't bring forth the plants, and the animals can't grow, and the fish and the birds and the winged ones of the sky, and things stay in darkness and nothing flourishes. Darkness is colonialism. It is a darkness that has actually covered the earth. The whole world has been affected, not just our native people here. Africa, India, China, all over. Colonialism has been a darkness. And all the time that colonialism has gone forth, it has claimed to be the light. Even the Roman Empire in the time of Jesus said, oh, we are the peace. We are the Pax Romana, the peace of Rome. We're bringing peace to the earth. But you see, they believed peace comes by force. They believed peace comes by the sword. That's not the way peace comes. When Peter pulled out the sword, he's ready to die for Jesus, right? He pulled that sword out. Jesus said, "You're all going to betray me." And Peter says, "Not me. We're not going to betray you." He was ready. He pulled his sword out. He was ready to die. He whacked somebody. He wasn't very good at it. He was just a fisherman. And he thinks Jesus is going to start this great rebellion, and he's going to kill off all those bad Jews, and he's going to kill off all those Romans. And this is Peter's view of what it's going to look like. And Jesus says, "No, Peter, put away your sword. Put it back. That's not the way my kingdom's going to come." So we can either look and believe that the kingdom comes by the sword, or we can believe it comes by the cross. By the sword, violence and takeover. By the cross, loving sacrifice. I believe in the loving sacrifice way. I believe that that is the way that conquers the darkness. That is the light that shines into the darkness and takes away its power. For the last 400 years, our indigenous people have suffered under the darkness of colonialism. It has been a very deep darkness because the ones who should have been Creator's light, bringing the story of the light of his Son, instead succumbed to the darkness, thinking they were walking in the light. Church and mission organizations participated with the government and were paid to civilize us, to Christianize us, using boarding schools that stripped us of our culture, our language, our indigenous values, our family relationships. They were participating with darkness, thinking it was the light. How deep is that kind of darkness? We, the indigenous people of North America, I believe we are in a unique position to shine the light of truth into the darkness of colonialism and take off its mask, take off its disguise, call it for what it is. Yes, we understand that people can be overtaken by darkness. Some of our own people have been overtaken by darkness. Darkness has covered the earth. But I tell you something, that darkness needs to be exposed. You can't have reconciliation without truth, without light. The light of what has happened, the indigenous light that we have can shine into this darkness. And we're going to see how the scriptures that small man Paul wrote and Jesus wrote affirm this idea. We, the indigenous people of North America, are in a unique position to shine the light of truth in the darkness and take off its mask. Creator does have a hope and a future for us in this land. To be bearers of light, to be image bearers. Because when we walk in the light, when we do what is good and right, when we bless people, when we look to see healing and flourishing happen among all people everywhere, then we begin to understand that those who are in darkness, the very ones who thought they were bringing us light, they're in bad shape and they don't know it. And we got to help them get out of that darkness. We got to help them see clearer what Creator wants for all people. And that the harm that they brought to us was a darkness. And we can only do this. To do this, we have to walk in the light ourselves with no darkness in our souls. We need to be willing to bring the light of forgiveness. Forgiveness has power. Forgiveness is the greatest power we have. We don't yet see it as power. We see it as weakness. But Creator sees it as power. When Jesus was on the cross, it says that he was crucified through weakness, but he lives by the power of our Creator. He became weak, and he absorbed the ugliness. He identified himself with the marginalized, with the oppressed, with the misunderstood. He died, he suffered for something he never did. And when we as Indigenous people who have suffered for things we never did can take that suffering, that wound that has come upon our souls, and when we can touch that wound to the wounds of Jesus, to the wounds of Creator sets free, we can have healing. Because he has absorbed the darkness, and he took it to hell. He took it down into the deep, dark underworld, and he left it there, and he rose from the dead because death could not hold him, and death can't hold us as long as we're holding on to him. We must walk in the light with no darkness in our souls, willing to forgive. We have to first receive the light before we can give the light. Then we become warriors of the light. Our arrows are the words of light spoken from the bowstrings of our heart as we speak the truth in love, truth with reconciliation. Light, not covering up what's happened, but exposing it. We're going to see how this works. Out of the ashes of colonialism, Creator is birthing a new beauty. He is turning our mourning into dancing. A new generation is finding its voice. And it's not that our past generations didn't have a voice, but their voice was smothered. But enough got through. And they kept praying, and they prayed for us. They knew that this was darkness. They knew it was a bad thing that was coming, but they knew the future generations would need their prayers and their help to overcome this and get through this and be healed from it and go forward. Each generation has spirit warriors who have fought to bring healing to the next. If we will touch our wounds to the wounds of Creator sets free, we will be healed and we will become healers. First, to our own peoples. Some of our people betrayed us. They did. We have some darkness in our past that we have to face up to. We warred sometimes against one another. We didn't treat each other with the respect that we knew the Creator wanted us to treat all people with. We're not free from the darkness, but we've experienced a form of darkness that is covering the earth and has covered the earth. And Creator wants us to see that and know that first our own darkness has to be healed. Light has to shine into us. And who can bring that light? Who has the light of Creator enough to shine it into us so that we can have it shine out of us? I believe that is the Son of Creator, the Son of God, Creator sets free, Jesus. I believe he is for all people everywhere. And I've heard the stories. Our native people found power in the name of Jesus over evil spirits, over fear. And Creator Sets Free brought a new freedom to many, many of our people. But then this colonialism slipped in and began to take over. But it's not going to win. If you look around, colonialism, you would think it's been pretty successful. We're not speaking, hardly any of us are speaking or reading our languages. Maybe 8% of us, 5% of us. You would think they won, but I'll tell you something. They thought they won when Jesus died. Didn't they? But out of the ashes, out of that tomb, he came back from the dead. And Creator affirmed him, and he's going to do the same thing for us, because Paul, as he gives this new invitation that we're going to read here about Isaiah's invitation being renewed for all people, Paul makes it clear. Now I want to read to you a couple of these scriptures. Isaiah 58:12. Here's what can happen. This is right in this section of Isaiah where he's talking about having your light go forth, breaking the chains of bondage and oppression that are around us. He's speaking here, and Isaiah says in Isaiah 58:12, and this is a word that I want to claim for our people, for the indigenous of this land. Your people will rebuild the ancient ruins and will raise up the age-old foundations. You will be called repairer of broken walls, restorer of streets with dwellings. That's where light can take us. If we will embrace this light, I believe Creator will lead us through his Son to this place where we become the ones who restore the beauty of our cultures within the context of the Creator's love and his Son. John 12:36. Jesus is speaking. This was almost the last public statement Jesus made before he went kind of into hiding at that point. You can read in John where it says that he knew his time had come. He knew it was time to go to the cross. He knew it was time to cast out the ruler of this world, who was at that time Satan. He said this, put your trust in the one who gives you light, and then you will become children of light. Put your trust in the one who gives you light, and you will become children of light. Because we're created, recreated, renewed in his image, in his likeness. He says now, you, my people, you are the light of the world. He's up there. He's ruling through his Spirit up there. We're down here, but we're his body on the earth. And I'm going to solve the mystery of would Jesus eat fry bread? If we're his body, I think Jesus ate fry bread tonight when we ate it. I think we're his body, so I think we're Jesus eating fry bread. That's how I see it. Ephesians, this is where we're going to land tonight. Ephesians 5:8-14, it says, as weak human beings, you were once empty and full of darkness. But now Creator's Spirit lives in you. You are beings full of light. Walk in the light, and all things good and right and true will shine out from you. This will prove you are his children, the ones who seek for ways to make his heart glad. Turn away from the path of darkness with its worthless ways. Instead, let your light shine into the darkness and to show the way out. We need to help show the way out of the darkness. We have a calling. We can help the dominant culture out of the darkness by telling our stories, by making it clear what happened and what was good and what was bad. The shameful things done under the blanket of night should not even be spoken of. There are things that were too ugly that we won't even talk about. But we'll talk about enough to make it clear. It says, for light shines into the darkness and takes the mask off its empty ways. When I was getting ready for this, I was asked to speak to this group at this Would Jesus Eat Fry Bread. That night, after I accepted, okay, I'll be the speaker for this, I dreamed all night. And all these scriptures started kind of downloading in my sleep. And I thought I was asleep. I thought I was awake. I couldn't tell if I was asleep or awake. But I kept hearing these scriptures. And all of a sudden I heard, take off the mask. I heard it. In my sleep or awake or whatever, it came to, take off the mask. And I said, what mask are we talking about? And then I opened the First Nation version. I forgot. Yeah, we translated it that way. To take off the mask means to expose. In most translations, it says we are called to expose the darkness through the light. Expose the ugliness of it. Shine the light so it becomes clear that that's darkness there. That's not good. No more can you claim that that was the light. It's about this. And then he says this. It is like the sunrise. It pushes back the night and brings the light of a new day. Darlene, would you bring my guitar up and the parts to that? In verse 14, this is why it is said. Now here's the Apostle Paul, small man, the message bearer of Creator Sets Free, Jesus, the Son of Creator. He goes clear back to Isaiah's message. And he gives it out again. He says, wake up, O sleeper. Remember how Isaiah said? It's time for you to arise from your sleep. Come back from the dead. And the chosen one will shine on you. Now, I want to tell you a story to close here. And we're going to sing a song tonight, Darlene and I, that we wrote a long time ago when we lived on the Hopi Res. And this song became something that spoke deeply to my heart. And but I want to tell this story. We were in the Hopi jail, and we would go in there, and we'd have these small groups, sometimes men, sometimes the women that were in the jail would come to these meetings. And so in one of these times, we sang this song, and we explained in Malachi 4:2, it says, the Son of Righteousness will rise with healing in his wings. We talked about how that the Hopi spirit, the Kachina of the sun, the face of the sun, had feathers going out from it. And the feathers, I asked a Hopi elder, what do those feathers mean? And they said, well, those are the rays of the sun bringing healing. And I said, well, there it is, right there. Healing is in this light. The light doesn't come to hurt us. It comes to help us, clearly. So we sang this, and there was a few people there, and we just simply sang the song and left. We didn't know anything happened. But a year later, we met a Hopi woman. She says, oh, you guys, we were visiting this part of the res, and she says, you were the ones that sang that song. The song about the rising sun. The song about Jesus being the rising sun and welcoming him. And she says, when you sang that song that night, I looked and I could see a man walking toward me. And he had the face like a sun with feathers coming out. He says, and he was coming to me with his arms stretched out, and I welcomed him. She says, I felt the heat of his sun face go into my body. And she says, since that day, I was a drunk, she said, and I have not touched alcohol since that day. And now I go to church. And I believe in this God-man, this man sent from Creator, the Son of the Creator. So we want to sing this song just for you to listen. We're not going to put the words up. You can listen to the words as we sing it. But maybe as we sing this song, you would like to respond to it. Maybe Creator's giving you an invitation today to welcome the light. Is it working? It's coming out there? All right. The sun of righteousness is rising, coming with healing in his wings, rising to shine his face upon us. He's here to set the captives free. Come on, arise and shine, our light has come. The path of peace is before us now. We will welcome the rising sun, sent from heaven, the sacred one, the bright and morning star, the light of the world. Creator sets free. Creator sets free. Yahweh, hey ya, hey ya. Yahweh, hey ya, hey ya. The glory of the Lord is dawning, bringing the light of the new day to shine on those who live in darkness and in the shadow of death. Rise and shine, our light has come. The path of peace is before us now. We will welcome the rising Son, sent from heaven, the sacred one, the bright and morning star, the light of the world. Creator sets free. You are Creator sets free. Yeah. Creator sets free. Away. Hey, oh, hey, oh. Yahweh. Hey, oh, hey, oh. Oh, amen. Portland. It's all yours.
Don't hit the lights. Before we go along, I just really like this little mic right here. Oh. That's how this mic's done inside. Well, I would go. There's this wonderful video that extends this moment of visitation. And I like this is something that me, Cedric, and others in the varsity worked on. To kind of to tell the gospel story in a visual and artistic form. And we wanted to share, some of you may have already seen it, but I wanted to share, and I felt like that was a kind of good seasoning as we go in, and I wanted to give some responses. So.
It starts in the beginning. The Creator was there in nothingness. Then Creator spoke and made the light, the land, the water, and the people. Creator gave us water to nourish the land, and our bodies and souls thrive. In Creator's garden, everything was beautiful. We would talk and take walks with Creator in perfect harmony. But one day, a seed of suspicion grew in our minds. We questioned if there was something better than Creator's water, and decided to quench our thirst our own way. We turned our backs on Creator and made our home in the parched desert. And it claimed us. In the desert, we drank the sand to satisfy our thirst. We became like the sand we were drinking. We turned on one another. We hurt and killed each other and abused the land. We wandered in the dry and thirsty desert and lost hope. Creator saw our suffering and how we turned on each other. In a surprising act of love, Creator sent His Son, Jesus, which means Creator sets free. He entered our dry and dusty world, joining us in the desert. Jesus came to set us free from our thirsty and cracked souls. He brought hope to the desert, offering us living water. Some people drank freely of this delicious gift, but others continued to choke down the sand. They saw the living water as a threat and decided to kill Jesus. Creator sets free, died. But the story doesn't end there. Creator tricked death, and the tomb became a spring. Creator sets free rose from the dead and became the living water to the world. From then until now, we all may drink of living water, and our deepest thirst can finally be satisfied. When we trust Jesus and walk with Creator, this new life and love overflows our souls, rippling through our lives and communities.
So as we move on, is this good, Tim? Can you hear me? Okay. I just didn't want to kiss the mic again. Yeah, always have a little levity. As we go, one of the things important when we hear messages like this, when we come into spaces like this, is that, as Terry alluded to in his talk, as just this kind of mystical connection of the fry bread, us as his people eating it, so therefore Jesus eats fry bread. Love that. I think that if we think of it that way, we also have to think that every time we encounter people speaking God's word, speaking people that are speaking from Creator's heart, that also demands a response. Whenever we look in Scripture, whenever Jesus speaks, people have a chance to respond. Some people respond foolishly, some people respond quite out of their senses, but then other people respond wisely. And so I have a series of invitations for you, just to kind of come up in like a moment of prayer and reflection as we leave from here tonight. We're not leaving right after I say we have to distribute these beautiful blankets, and we have the local communion, which I'm looking forward to. But as I think about this, is that so much it's like we like to count cards. We like to say, oh, someone made a decision for Jesus, and I love those as much as the next guy. That's kind of my job. But the thing that I think about is it's more in the sense of that each one of you here have had words prayed over you. You've had words of prophecy saying that you are the answer to many prayers from people who did not have voices that were amplified, from people who did not have voices that were heard by many, but Creator heard them. The Creator's Spirit heard them. And the first one that I have is that, and I just wanted to explain is that, so there's not going to be, I'm not going to ask anyone to stand up if they have a response there. I want this to be between you and the community that brought you here. I want you to say to them, this is what happened. This is what Creator Sets Free told me. This is what's different about me now. I want you to join me on this journey that I have been invited into. And so the first invitation I have is for there might be several of us in the crowd, and who may have already answered this question, but I just wanted to bring us into that space. If you have not followed Creator Sets Free with everything you have, because that's really what it means to follow Him. If this is the first time you've known Him, you've been a fan of Jesus, you've been a fan of Creator Sets Free, you've liked Him, you've enjoyed coming to these sort of things, but you haven't accepted His gift. Now, to explain His gift, as a Lakota man, I have to understand that Jesus sundanced for the whole world. When someone sundances, they come with the pain of their community. They come with the sickness, the sorrow. They come and they give it, and they bring into a place of pain to die. And the people are set free and made whole. And the thing about it is that in the old ways is that you had to do it for yourself. But in this way is that we can only do it for ourselves, and we can only do it for a year. Just like when they talk about it in the temples, people would bring sacrifices, and it would only be good for that year. But then afterwards, we think about it. We think about who Creator Sets Free was. And it becomes very clear that He sundanced for us all. Now, if this is you, and you're debating this question, He's giving this gift to you. He's giving this gift to you right now. He's offering it. His hand is bloodied. He's in a place, but He has the power and the authority to give this to you. And we're just going to take a moment of just pure silence. And I just want you to talk with Him right now. Now you can accept it, which I would encourage. Yeah, right? I mean, that's my job. But I would also encourage you just to be honest in this prayerful moment. If you've never thought of this in this way before, I ask you to respond to him. The world and empires and all the evils of the world speak in cacophonous noise, gongs and wars, but only Creator speaks in silence. And this is my next invitation. Is that some of you have probably followed Jesus your whole life, or for a very long time. You know this guy, you love him, you're about him, you're going along in whatever way that you can. But I think for some of us, and this kind of came as I was praying through and getting ready for this, is that I think Creator Sets Free is asking you to follow him as you truly are. As an Indigenous man or woman, as an Indigenous person. Now often in the West, we compartmentalize these things. We separate these things. We kind of weirdly think that people are a pie chart. That you have the Indian person, you have the religious, spiritual person, you have the person that goes to church, you have the person that has fun, all those sort of things. But that's just not the way our people thought about these things. And if that's the case, I think this is a great invitation. I think this is a great invitation to say, yes, Jesus, I will follow you. This was a moment that happened in my own life. That I had, that to fully honor Jesus' invitation, like the first one, I had to say, Jesus, I will follow you as the Lakota man. That I will walk your blue road. That I will walk your way. That I will walk in honor of you because you were there at the very beginning. And so if that's you, if you've heard that, like I said, I encourage you to tell that to the community that brought you here, the community that invited you here. Because we're doing this together. And if that's you, I ask you to talk to Creator Sets Free right now. We're going to take another moment of silence. A more joyful man than myself once said on his deathbed that the issue is now clear. It is between light and darkness, and everyone must choose their side. Now, my last invitation is for, is that maybe you said no to the first invitation, and maybe you also said no to the second. And I'm going to do a little bit of stretching and say that's okay. But I want to encourage you. I want to tell you a little bit about what's going on. The thing about what's going on, and what I want to encourage you to do, is that everything that all these pains, all these trials, all these troubles that we've seen, and I've definitely known my share, especially in the last several months, is the notion that that's not going to last forever. That everything that we've knitted together, everything that we knitted together in love is going to be covered, that everything will be all right. That everything is going to be okay. It's kind of funny how we've circled back to the Bible study we had at the start. In Revelation, when it talks about the shelter, right? It says, there's this great, it describes almost like a camp meeting. It reminds me when I went to visit Good Medicine Way at the Wachoni family camp. It describes that there's all these tents there. It describes that there's a great sunrise. It describes that there's great rejoicing, great singing. Powerful, powerful worship, people in every tongue and every language, dressed in dazzling regalia, declaring that the victory has been won. The thing about that is that this is the beginning. And when we think about it, we think about the fact that there'll be teepees there. There'll be hogans there. There'll be longhouses there. Every single type of dwelling will be there. And that's what's coming. That is what's coming. And so if you said no to those invitations, I encourage you to keep walking with this community that you've come with. Maybe you don't know what Jesus is all about yet, but I encourage you, keep living with them. Keep walking with them. Keep letting them love on you. Keep asking these questions. Because there's no more powerful way that you can honor Jesus than with an honest response. So I want to encourage you in that. And I just think about how beautiful you all are. How much God loves every single one of you. And as we go on, we're going to begin our last part of the evening. And there's a thing about how we have to physically declare things. And other people will speak on that myself. So as it goes, I just want to thank you all. And I encourage you to keep seeking the light, and that you'll find it. I'm stretching because Megan's still talking and she's the next part. That's a term we call in the business. It's stretching. You keep it kind of going right there,
So we're going to make a little bit of a transition and a continuation. So we're going to move into communion. So if you are somebody who offered to help with serving communion or handing out blankets, please go ahead and make your way up. Somehow communion has a lot of logistics. So I'm going to give some instructions, and then Terry will lead us in the remembering ceremony. But what we're going to do is we're going to start with having elders, and then anyone who's going to participate in prayer ministry, they'll come up and take the elements, and then they will stand around the edges of the room and be available for prayer after others take communion. The second group that's going to come up are the folks who are going to be leading worship. So they'll come up after that, and then they'll come up on stage and play music while the rest of us come. So then we'll have students and then other guests come through. If you're a student or a young person, maybe you're not in school, but you're like student age, there are people from all over the country who have made blankets for you and prayed for you. And I hope, if you've never been to WJEF before, you don't know this, but there's a lot more not students here than usual. And I hope that rather than that like feeling off balance somehow, I hope you felt surrounded and loved by them. And I hope that this blanket will also symbolize the love that all of us who came here because we love you are sending you with. So if you're a student, you can come take the elements, and then there's other folks who will wrap you in a blanket and give you a blessing. So again, elders, then prayer ministers, then worship leaders, then students, then everyone else is the grand order of things. So you'll come up through the middle. It's identical on each side. Go to one side or the other, and then around the back. And if you want somebody to pray for you, they'll be available. So handing it off to you, Terry.
So Jesus was a ceremonial man, and he gave us a ceremony. And ceremonies have repeating ways to them, don't they? There's a certain way to do it. There's a certain reason that we do the ceremony. Jesus took some bread, some traditional Jewish bread, and he took something that was very traditional to his people, a cup of wine. And he gave a ceremony with those traditional elements, they're called sometimes. I think that's kind of a cold word. We'll just call it good medicine. This is medicine. Good medicine. So, in the tradition of the Cheyenne and Arapaho, and we've talked with the elders and the people here, and with Gordon. I had a talk today with Gordon. These are the traditional elements here, the traditional medicines for communion. Corn soup and skillet bread. So today, these elements, these good medicine, this good food that Creator Sets Free gave us to remember. It's a remembering ceremony, to remember the loving sacrifice He made so that we could live and we could have His life. So for some of us, we're opening this table to anyone who wants to come. That's been my tradition. Some churches, they say only believers. But I believe that if you come to the table, you are a believer or you're intending to become one. Because when you eat His body and drink His blood, represented here, you're taking Creator Sets Free into yourself. So if you don't want to do that, it's okay. You don't have to do the ceremony. But if you do, do it from your heart and mean it. It's a good thing. I have a prayer. Great Spirit and Father of Creator Sets Free, the chosen one. We thank you for this sacred mystery represented here today in this traditional cup of corn soup and in the grain of this skillet bread, the blood and body of your Son. Creator Sets Free, Jesus. Today we honor and we bless this soup and this bread, and we set them apart in a sacred manner on behalf of your people, who will by faith receive through them the renewal of your forgiveness of their broken ways. We do this as you instructed us, to remember the ultimate sacrifice of the life of your Son, Creator Sets Free, the chosen one, when He died on the cross, and also in the hope of our resurrection from the dead upon your future return. This soup and bread are for us this day the body of Creator Sets Free, poured out and broken on our behalf and because of our broken ways. In partaking of them, we renew your promise of forgiveness and honor the new covenant, the new peace treaty that you have sealed for us through your Son. Aho and amen.
Okay, worship people, those who are helping with worship, come on up. Students, nesse os. Once you take communion, you will be given a blanket, students, so be ready for that. There are 2 lines here.
Oh, I do.
There's nothing worth more that will ever come close. Nothing can compare. You're our living hope. Your presence, I've tasted and seen of the sweetest of loves, when my heart becomes free and my shame is undone. Your presence, Lord. Holy Spirit, you are welcome here. Come flood this place and fill the atmosphere. Your glory, God, is what our hearts long for. To be overcome by your presence, Lord. Your presence, Lord. There's nothing worth more that will ever come close. Nothing can compare. You're our living hope. Your presence, Lord. I've tasted and seen of the sweetest of loves, when my heart becomes clean and my shame is undone. Your presence, Lord. Holy Spirit, you are welcome here. Come flood this place and fill the atmosphere. atmosphere. Your glory, God, is what our hearts long for. To be overcome by your presence, Lord. Your presence, Lord. Let us become more aware of your presence. Let us experience the glory of your goodness. Let us become more aware of your presence. Let us experience the glory of your goodness. Let us become more aware of your presence. Let us experience the glory of your goodness. Let us become more aware of your presence. Let us experience the glory of your goodness. Holy Spirit, you are welcome here. Come flood this place and fill the atmosphere. Your glory, God, is what our hearts long for. To be overcome by your presence, Lord. Holy Spirit, you are welcome here. Come flood this place and fill the atmosphere. Your glory, God, is what our hearts long for. To be overcome by your presence, Lord. You call me out upon the waters, the great unknown, where feet may fail. And there I find you in the mystery, in oceans deep, my faith will stand. And I will call upon your name and keep my eyes above the waves. When oceans rise, my soul will rest in your embrace. For I am yours, and you are mine. Your grace abounds in deepest waters. Your sovereign hand will be my guide. Where feet may fail and fear surrounds me, you never fail, and you won't start now. And I will call upon your name and keep my eyes above the waves. When oceans rise, my soul will rest in your embrace. for I am yours, and you are mine. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. So I will call upon your name and keep my eyes above the waves. When oceans rise, my soul will rest in your embrace. For I am yours, and you are mine.
Right, I have to be very honest. That was the best tasting communion I've ever had in my life. Okay, Are there any students that didn't get a blanket? You can raise your hands. There's over here way in the back on the left. You can just raise your hands and she'll run around and hand out the rest of the blankets. But yeah, that communion was good. Imagine, I'm glad they don't have that every Sunday because I'd probably gain a little bit of weight. Just because it tastes so good, and I saw some of you trying to come around a second time. I was like, no, just once. You just get it once, and that's it. As we kind of close our time now, is Gordon, Chief Gordon, still here? He might have snuck out. Mike couldn't find him. So we want someone to close our time. So could I invite Terry Wildman up as one of our elders to just to pray a blessing for all of us as we travel back home, and pray that we don't forget his words and his wisdom that he's bestowed upon us, and to just give new life to our new friendships and new people we've met, and all those good things. So Terry could come on up and close our time with a prayer, and I believe Kelsey will close our time with a song also.
So for prayer, I'll sing a traveling song. You have shown us, Creator, what is good. You have shown us, Creator, what you require to do justice, to love mercy, to walk humbly in your sight. You have shown us, Creator, what is good. You have shown us, Creator, what you require to do justly, to love mercy, to walk humbly in your sight. Go and shine the light, I hope.
I just want to thank those students that shared the worship songs. As I had told you before, I was part of a church that sang those kind of songs, and it was great to hear. So I want to thank you guys. For the 2016 WJEF Freiburg Conference, that was at Haskell, renewed my spirit and made me want to be a part of this community. I went up there on the very last day and sang Amazing Grace in Lakota, as I am from Oglala Nashi Kangu Itahan. Onu iyam tehawaun mapshi chapta wani wawashte chante mahel. Wash thanking Creator, help me. I'm sorry, but let's just sing it in English. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but I see. Safe travels, my friends. Thank you for coming, and I hope that you are filled with the Holy Spirit now. I apologize for messing up the song before, but thank you. Thank you.
All right, really quick last minute announcements. If you can, Cedric, can you put up the QR code for the survey? We'd really like to hear your feedback on this conference. What went well, what didn't go well, what we could do better. Cedric will turn on the projector. There's a QR code. Just come up with your phone. You guys all know how to do that. I don't need to explain it. You guys are young. Just point it there and click. If you're older, ask the younger ones how to do it. But just fill out the survey. Again, shuttles, make sure your name is on the list and info desk before you leave. First bus leaves at 4:30 in the morning tomorrow. And that's going to happen there. Do you have something, Shandy?
I just want to offer, if you want to smudge before you leave the space, and if you want to bless your blanket, I'll be standing outside with some sage.
For a price. Just kidding. No. And on that note, I think, yeah, here's a QR code. Thanks. Am I missing any announcements? I know. Before you guys all leave, don't leave. And so we're going to try to do the impossible and take a group picture. I don't think it'll work, but I'm not in charge, so I was just told. So I don't know where you want to stand. Where do you want them to go, Megan? That was your... So everyone look at Josh in the middle with the camera. Where do you want everyone to stand, Josh? With the, is it okay the projector's on? There'll be light. Oh, sorry, Cedric. Making Cedric work overtime, so. For the survey, yeah, the group me, there's a survey link too, so please fill that out. It'll just take 2 minutes, maybe not even that long. Hey, should we move the tables out of the way? Is the communion food up for grabs? No.
This is just a reminder for all the small group leaders to go back and receive your gifts from the children after we're done.
Is this one on? Oh, great. We need to be in between the chairs, y'all. So, like, if you're past the smallest circle, you need to get in closer and make sure you can see in between the two heads in between, like, you, so Josh can see you. So get your head in the slot of the people in front of you, because we want to see each of your beautiful faces. Okay.
Come
Maybe I'll just go back there. Yeah, I mean, if you want to stick around and I'll stay in a few minutes, I will. Oh, no, take your time.